Coach, this is the defense, or it's the team that come in, 133 points the previous 2 weeks, and they're held to 19 points, and more so over than that, the stops were made late in the game when they mattered most. Does this defense, when did they really realize, what they had accomplished Saturday night?
I don't know if they've even really thought about it like that. I think our defense, they have a mentality that they want to get better. Next snap mentality, next day mentality. I'll tell you a great story. It was about 2:30 in the morning after the game, and I'm getting text messages from our defensive players, from our players on this team, saying, "Coach, we're lifting tomorrow. We're continuing what we do. We're not letting up. We're not taking off. We're lifting tomorrow." And so now we're starting to get, player ownership. When this team becomes player-driven, and that usually doesn't happen until year 2, but we're pushing the envelope for it to happen year 1 if we want to do the things that we say we want to do. So that's very encouraging. That was a good sign, but I think our defense, they like the challenge. They like the toughness. They like the count us out, the chip mentality that this team and this town is starting to embrace. And I think we're owning it. We're owning it. We owned, we were excited about James Madison coming to Monroe and being a 17-point underdog, and really, the top in this conference really the last couple of years, even though they weren't eligible for the title. So it was a big moment in where we're trying to take this program.
Aidan, what did you think of his performance, and what does he bring to offense now moving forward?
I thought Aidan, it was his first start of his career. I felt like after probably the first 10 snaps, he settled down a little bit. I thought he was typical, typical first start jitters, first start drops, first start footwork. As the game continued to go, I thought Aidan settled down. I thought he was more relaxed. The game started to slow down for him. I thought he made some great decisions. He made a couple decisions that he would like to get back, just like anybody else would. But I thought as the game went, he grew more comfortable, and it slowed down for him. And then he started playing with more confidence. You saw his confidence grow as the game went. And you go back to the Troy game in the second half, in that situation, in that moment, to the next game at James Madison. That's a tough moment now. That's a big game for a kid's first start of his career. I thought he handled it extremely well. There's probably about 8 plays that he'll see, he saw yesterday, that he'll grow from and develop, and I just think he'll continue to get better.
Coach, this team's up to this point has kind of thrived on the underdog, being doubted, disrespected role. For the first time, that's changed. You guys have been patted on the back and you're a favorite this week. How do you avoid what Nick Saban used to say rat poison?
I think this team and this town and these players have been through so much, and I know it because I know what we've been through. I've been here, I think, in this staff about 10 months. But I've researched the history. I've talked to these players. I've talked to former players. I think what this program's been through, what this town's been through, what this university's been through, there's no change. There's no change in our mentality. There's no change in our mindset because, we're 4-1 and we're proud of where we're at, but we're not satisfied. That burn and that chip mentality is not going anywhere anytime soon. And if anything, I think it's going to grow because, we got to remember what got us here, and we know what got us here because we're going to continue that path, but we've got to continue to raise the level. One thing I'm really proud of this team, if you go back to Jackson State, and now you look at us Saturday night, we've grown, we've developed, we've gotten better. We've really grown as a team, and our goal and we talk about this all the time. We've been talking about this all winter. Our goal is to peak week 8. That's when we want to be peaking as a football team, and we've talked about that since January, and we continue to talk about it because you want to be peaking around week 8, and if you're playing something and you're peaking at that time, then you've got an opportunity to do something special. We have not reached any of our goals. We have not accomplished really anything that we've set out to do and to finish. And, it's next day. It's next day, but I don't see any let up. I don't see any mentality changing for one ounce. But if anything is going to grow, I can tell you that it's going to grow.
Coach, we've talked a lot, given a lot of praise to teams like Troy and James Madison about, being the premier teams in the Sun Belt Conference. It's about time we start putting ULM in that discussion. The two top dogs have been beaten down, so it's about time that ULM's in that conversation, isn't it?
I think as each game goes and each day goes and each week goes, that's every day we've got something to prove. And I want you to believe this, and I want you to hear this. This is personal. It's personal to our coaching staff. It's personal to our players. And it's becoming personal to our community and our town to bring back the pride, to bring back the passion, to bring back the energy and the effort, and to make this entire Warhawk family proud of how we represent those guys and those people, every day and every game. And I think we've got an opportunity to build something special here, something that nobody thought we could do. And now is the time for us to all grab arms and to lock in and to build this thing. This army is waiting to be joined. We've got to build this army. We've got to continue to build our fan base. We've got to continue, to take these steps, because we want to build a championship caliber program. We want to build a championship caliber program. I'm going to say it again. And I think we all see that the potential is here when nobody said we could do it, when we were 134. And you know what? Let's prove them wrong. And the only way we can do that is if we all come together. And you're starting to see it. The fans, the student body, the former players. It has begun.
Coach, take us behind the curve a little bit about this team, maybe exceeding expectations, if you want to call them to this point. Maybe not to those guys in the locker room, but I think it was epitomized on one play. When Earl Marquette from New Orleans, Cedric Langston from Wydett, Alabama, I know you know where that is, and Daniel Newsom from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. 73 guys, nowhere related in any way, shape, or form, different parts of the country. When he took that thing back, the lid on this place went off. I think that's something to build on.
It is. It is. I think that play right there is a monumental play in this return, in this return. I think we recruited really well. And it was the type of kids we recruited. If you look at the type, Dan Knutson is a captain. Cedric Langston is a tough warrior. And I could go over and talk about all our kids. But when you're going to change a culture and you're going to change a program, you got to get culture changers, not culture killers. And we brought in a ton of culture changers that are positive, they love football. They're people persons. They care about people. They're good people. They'll represent our program on and off the field. And they're not perfect. They're still kids. But I think that we recruited a bunch of guys with a chip on their shoulder that embrace this mission and embrace turning this program around. And Dan's just one of the many I feel like we brought in. But every day Dan's the same person. He's a winner. He's a fighter. He cares. He's a great teammate. He's a good leader. When things go tough, Dan works harder. And that's kind of the mentality of our team. And I couldn't be more proud of that moment. Dan earned that moment. Cedric and Earl earned that moment. And when your opportunity arises and you're ready, those things happen.
Southern Miss, obviously, that's an issue so far this year. What concerns you the most about them?
Well, if you go back and you look at Southern Miss, they've been in a lot of games. They opened up, obviously, at Kentucky. Then they've got Southeast Louisiana. Then they play South Florida at home, and they're up 14-0 in the second quarter. They're up 14-0 on South Florida, and it's 28-21 with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. And then you go to Jacksonville State, and Jack State was hungry for a win. That was a big deal at home for Jack State to get in, to get back on track. And they turned the ball over. too many times against a really good Jacksonville State team. And then they go to Lafayette, or Lafayette comes to them, and that's been some big rivalries between those two guys. And I thought Southern Miss played really hard. They were in it. That ended up being a close ball game. So I think Southern Miss is a good football team. They've played a really good schedule. They're still playing hard. I've got a lot of respect for Will Hall. I've known Will Hall a long time, and I think Will's a really good coach. And we also know that their backs are against the wall. That's how we look at it, and our backs are against the wall. That's how we are every day. And we're going to have us a fight Saturday night, and we know it. And we don't expect anything less than a really good Southern Miss team coming in here fighting their tails off to get back on track.
Coach, last one I got is ESPN. I was just looking at it. They've done their re-ranking. You're no longer 134, but despite being 4-1, you're 125. Is that kind of just how you like it?
That's exactly how we like it, and that's how we live it. And I think that's how we're going to live, that's how we're going to live here at ULM, man. We're going to live with a chip on our shoulder. It's us versus everybody else. And for too long at times, anytime you've been down, you see some, it's us versus us, and that's normal, in losing situations or in tough situations. And now you're starting to see it's us versus everybody else. And you're seeing, the baseball team, our softball team, our basketball teams, our volleyball teams. I mean, they're all at the game. They're all celebrating with us. It's when you all come together as one and you fight together, you've got a chance to be successful.
I got two quick ones. There were so many special moments after that game. For you to have your mom there and then call her up in front of the team, what did that mean to you, Coach?
It really meant everything because, we've all had our adverse situations growing up in life, and we've all had tough times. And my mom was always my rock. She was always there for me. She was always encouraging. She was always positive, and she always believed in what my goals and what my dreams were, as her son. And just for her to be able to see, for her to be to see that moment and to be there was obviously a special moment for me and my family.
And finally, it might seem like a little thing, but I think for the second week you guys are going to get steaks. Somebody in the community is going to cook them for you guys. What does that mean ultimately to the players to see that kind of investment from just some regular Joes?
I think it goes a long way. Our players see their work and their effort and what they're fighting for is being appreciated. And that's what's happening in this town. It's being appreciated. It hadn't been seen in a long time. And when you don't have anything for a long time, you have that opportunity to come back and to experience success in good times. I think it means a lot to our players. It means a lot to our staff just to come out and have a great steak dinner after a hard-fought win.
Coach, last one for you. We talk about, confidence breeding aggression, and this is a team that's got a lot of confidence right now, and it's shown on Saturdays. Just for this group to continue to feed off that confidence and continue to get better and better each week and play their style of football, play Warhol football. That's going to lead to a lot of success, isn't it?
It is. Confidence is very powerful, and it's hard to get confidence without success. But success breeds confidence, and it breeds belief. And it grows belief. And those are two powerful words, because if you believe and you have confidence, and you add those together with a team that has a purpose, then you've got a chance. You've got a chance. And I think our confidence is growing. I think our belief is growing. And we've just got to continue to keep that chip and continue to climb. And it's all in what we do every day. We got to continue to win the day. We've got to continue to climb. And let's see how far this team can go.
Describe it. What's been like this season? It's the highs of what you guys have accomplished so far.
I'm just happy to be a part of it. We just really got to buy in to what our coaches is telling us and just keep believing in them. When we came in, I came in January, and we just had to believe and work hard. So I'm loving it.
I talked to Coach Vincent and asked him, talk about what the defense did. This is a team that scored 133 points heading into Monroe, and you guys held them to 19 points. Do you guys really understand how big of an accomplishment, how big of a feat that is for that defense to hold James Madison to 19 points?
The accomplishment, it is big, but the main thing for our defense is really just getting the play call, lining up right, and really just forcing turnovers, getting takeaways on the ball, making tackles when there need to be made, and just lining up right.
Wydett, where you grew up, where you started your career, maybe you never saw yourself in Austin, Texas, or places like that, but here you are, and now you're on a 4-1 football team. I know it has to be extremely gratifying to you and your folks.
Yes, sir, it has been. Coming out of high school, going to Delta State, I always wanted to play D1 ball, and once I got that chance, I took advantage of it. And the coaches gave me a chance, they betted on me, so I'm repaying them by all my hard work.
What was the first time like when you met Coach Vincent?
I could tell that he was true to himself. He was a man of his word. When I first got here, I was very observant on my visit, and everything he said on my visit, he stood on. And he's a man of his words, and I really love and believe in him.
Just the energy that he brings and the confidence that he instills in the guys, it really brings a new light to the locker room, doesn't it?
Yes, sir, it does. He speaks volume. When he speaks, the room gets quiet. You can hear a pin drop, but he's a man of dominance, and he means what he say. So you listen to him, you believe in what all our coaches are saying, you're bound for greatness.
Like, yeah, when you get a chance to talk to high school kids and maybe overlooked coming out of high school, what advice do you give them? Because obviously you could have went to D1 right out of high school. You certainly had the credentials out of General Trask. What advice do you give them?
I say the biggest thing is playing your role, control what you can control. If you go to practice every day with that mindset that you should be somewhere else, then you're not going to make it very far. You have to be where your feet are planted at, where your feet is planted, and you just got to keep working hard no matter what and stay prayed up.
Wydett, how do you, from a communication standpoint, talk about focus, and you guys obviously, particularly Jamie, who's driving there late in the fourth quarter, just the ability to communicate with each other. I mean, to me, it's one of the biggest storylines this year is how y'all been able to do that so quickly.
Just really the focus and the bond that we have as a team and as a defense. We have unit meetings and different things of that category, and we always together. Once you're around someone, you build that chemistry that you know what this person is going to do, even if you don't talk it out. But the important is the communication that we have and the team chemistry that we have.
Hey, you guys have been a part of history, 4-1 for the first time since 1993. You guys are still pushing, aren't you?
Yes, sir. We're still looking like we're 134. We just got to keep working. We can't stop. We can't let the greatness or the progress that we've had over these couple weeks stop us now. We got to keep going. We still have to have that mindset that these people picked us to lose every game.
Evaluate your performance. What do you think of it?
Definitely made some mistakes early, but I think it benefits from just having a good team around you and just a solid defense the whole night that just clicked the entire time. So definitely fortunate to have the guys rally around me early and just kind of bounce back and just kind of play the rest of the game confident.
That's a big game for you guys against the James Madison team, undefeated James Madison team. For a first start, we always say pressure builds diamonds. Pressure builds diamonds, and makes diamonds. And you stepped up. Didn't let the moment wasn't too big for you. Talk about just your mindset to stay composed.
I don't think there was really any pressure just because of the work that we put in Monday through Friday during the week. Really just felt like we had a really good plan going in and just really felt confident in the guys to make plays the entire time. Felt confident in our plan, like I said. So, there wasn't really any pressure going into the game. Just really felt confident in our plan and felt confident in our ability to go win the game.
Describe your emotions when that final bell buzzer rang and you storm onto the field.
Yeah, definitely excited. Just felt good to be a part of it and just have an overall team win for not only this community but for everybody that's a part of it and everybody that's helped us along the way. It just means a lot, and just glad that we can have an opportunity to go do it again on Saturday.
You know Coach Vincent probably better than anybody. How would you describe him?
He's just an ultimate motivator. He does anything to believe in his guys, and no matter what, he he just stays constant in the mission, and like I said, just the work ethic constantly every single day, just relentless in everything that he does, and he's just he's really goal-oriented, and just really proud to have him as a head coach.
Did you get discouraged when you were named the starter? How'd you keep your emotions in check?
I think as a competitor, obviously you give yourself about that night just to reflect on it, but anything I can do to help the team win, that's my mission here. And like I said, we have a really good quarterback room that brings each other up, and we have a really good culture here, so the environment's always positive, and just really proud to be a part of it.
You talked about the confidence that you guys had. You know, I think we saw it over the course of the game. Your confidence continued to grow higher and higher. You threw a pass to Jake Godfrey in the end zone, and you saw him kind of celebrate before the ball was caught. When did you know that was ball was on the line? That was a tight end right there.
Yeah, I remember when Jake showed up last year at ULM. It was early June, and we were probably the only like 3 people on campus, and he came out and we were throwing out there, and he was diving for balls when we just got done on a Sunday morning at like 10 a.m., and I've never seen that before. Had burn marks all up and down his chest. Just kind of shows the competitor that he is. Yeah, just have ultimate belief in all of our guys here, and just really proud to be a part of this team.
What Southern Miss look like defensively?
Haven't really dived into them a ton, but from early work, just really competitive, guys that have relentless motors, and just really guys that will play till the end of the whistle.
It was big for you guys, you know, obviously you're going to watch tape, see what they do defensively, how they line up, but it's really important for you guys to stick with what you do and really hone in on perfecting, you know, the Warhawk offense. You know, how big is that going to be in going into this week?
Yeah, we're so far from where we want to be as an offense and just as a collective unit, so I think just getting better as this week goes on and just trying to master our craft as we go into Saturday.
Hardy, when did you know that maybe this freshman has something?
Probably the first day I met him. Just his exuberance and the way he carries himself every single day, and just his poise just as a young kid. Just it's honestly amazing to see, and I'm just so proud of him, and I know the work that he's put in to get to this point. So it's just good when someone gets their flowers from all the work that they put in.
You know, we've been seeing the community, the student body show up and support you guys and be there and be loud. You know, it's really fun to see Malone rocking like that and have that kind of energy at home, and you're defending home turf, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the student body, the band, everybody played their part, and I think it's just going to keep getting better and better, and hopefully the student body just keeps it going because they help us out so much throughout the game, and it's been awesome even on campus just seeing them early today. Just everybody has smiles on their face. Just it's a great place to be right now, so awesome.
When you got back to the locker room, how many text messages did you have?
Yeah, turned off my phone for a little bit just because, yeah, definitely some people back from my hometown just reaching out, just congratulating. But, yeah, it's all great, but we know what our mission is here. We're just taking it day by day, so just trying to stick to the mission.